guys.
What's up, good people?
Welcome back to week 2. This is not week 2. I would say the second recording.
Episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2.
Episode 2, there we go.
Welcome back to episode 2 of
You Win.
You Win Podcast. And so today we just want to talk more about why we decided to do a podcast and sort of what led us in the different directions that we've taken in the past year. We wanted to make the podcast about that today. And if you see me sitting here in a blanket, it's because this North Carolina weather, one moment is summer, then it's spring,
and then winter,
and then it's winter,
and maybe fall.
You just never know. And so it's cold in this house, and we don't really want to turn on the heat.
No heat, it costs money.
So, because it's really not that cold, but it's chilly to me. And I'm drinking a smoothie this morning too, so that's probably also why I'm a little bit chilly. Are you chilly?
Yeah, it's cold.
Okay.
Yeah, it's normal. Well, it's normal.
I guess it's just cold outside.
Yeah, it's normal.
It's cooler today, but then we're gonna go right back into the 80s in a couple of days. Yeah. So, just never know. I did leave out a couple of my winter sweaters just in case.
Yep.
All right, so
what we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about a book that, and this is sort of like a God appointed moment. Yeah. I was taking a walk, and I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to a podcast. And this is not something I normally do at all. And so I'm flipping through my phone, walking the dogs, looking for a podcast. And I landed on a podcast where Ron Deal, which is the author of The Mindful Marriage. Ron Deal was being interviewed, and he was talking, and a lot of things that he said sort of struck a chord with me. And so I listened to the whole podcast, and after that podcast, I ordered the book on Amazon right away because I was very interested. But I think the thing that made me so very interested in what he had to say about having a mindful marriage is that we have to daily put off the old self and put on the new self. So the Bible says taking off the old man and putting on the new man. And I was that sort of convicted me because I was very aware that I was not doing that daily in my marriage. I was not taking off the old man and putting on a new man because I was so easily to be offended or so easily to be frustrated.
Triggered.
Or so easily triggered. Yeah. And things that I had control to not be triggered. I say it all the time to my kids, and I say it to LeVar, we choose to be offended. And so we have control over that. And I knew for a fact that I was not controlling that when it came to my marriage. And so that really struck a chord with me, and I wanted to know more about how to do that effectively in a marriage. Because, we said last week, marriage is putting two people together. So there's going to be a lot of putting off and putting on when you're putting two people together. And so I want to know how to effectively do that.
I think it's another tool under your in your tool belt. Mm-hmm. And like I say, marriage takes works, and you got to have the proper tools to be able to work the marriage. So I think when you can't stumble on the mindful marriage, when you're talking about the type of therapy that's being used, that's another tool.
Yeah.
In your arsenal. So yeah.
And he spoke of pain cycles.
Mm-hmm.
So all a pain cycle is, and we all have it because we all have been raised in certain ways. We all have been raised in certain environments, and so we all have a pain cycle. And I don't know if everyone realizes that. I didn't really think of that. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay, honest. Now I know that I have a pain cycle, but I'm trying to think back a year ago. Did I even know that? And I know I didn't. I didn't think about having a pain cycle, things that can trigger me. Yeah. And all your pain cycle is what you tell yourself during an offense. Yeah. So, LeVar may say something and all of a sudden I'm triggered. Why am I triggered? Because I have a pain cycle. And throughout the book, it teaches you how to deal with your pain cycle so that doesn't bleed on your marriage in every offense or every, tough conversation or anything that you happen in your marriage. Your pain cycle doesn't bleed onto your marriage.
Well, pain cycles, I take that back. When you, I knew something was there, but when you hear the word pain cycle, you think it's something negative or bad.
Oh, okay.
And in our reality, it's not. But you say it's natural.
Yeah.
So I knew something was there, but you think of it in a negative way until you get an understanding of what it is. Oh, okay, I can see. Okay, yeah, I got a pain cycle.
Okay.
So yeah, for me.
So why do you think of it in a negative way?
Because it's just, I guess, how society talks about just different things, like therapy. You know how back in that day, therapy was negative. In our culture, you put you throw everything under the rug. Mm-hmm. But therapy's not bad. As you get older, you see it's not bad. But and that's the mindset that I had. When you hear pain cycle, you think it's another form of therapy or telling your business. So it's another way of not sweeping things under the rug. So yeah.
Okay. And see, that's just a great example of
you don't tell you.
two people coming together, coming from totally different upbringings. Because I never thought about having a pain cycle as being negative.
Yeah.
The way I thought of it was, I didn't realize I had a pain cycle. Mm-hmm. What can my pain cycle? I really want to know, what can my pain cycle be? I've never really thought about therapy as being negative. I have a very communicative family, so we talk about anything. And LeVar's totally different. Yeah. And so that's one of the things that we've had to figure out how to do once we became one is Tamika needs to talk. I need to address things. I need to talk. Or it's going to always be an issue for me. For him, not so much. He cannot talk about something, then walk in the room,
That's me.
like nothing ever happened. But that's not me. Yeah. So we had to learn how to join those two things together and come to a middle ground and do what works for us.
Yeah, and I like that you said do for work that works for us. And I think every marriage needs to find what works for you. Find your own communication frequency. Yeah. And when I say communicating frequency, I'm talking about when the two come together and find out what frequency works best for your marriage. Because it worked for mom and dad don't mean it worked for you, or it didn't work for mom and dad. So you got to find your own communicating frequency. And I think this book is a great example of giving you the tools to find your frequency to come together as one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what we sort of do is I've had to realize that LeVar's not going to talk about it right then. Yeah. You're going to have to give him some space and some time. But what we have agreed is that we're not going to lay down on it. Yeah. So we're going to give it an hour, give him time to process, collect his thoughts, and then we'll talk about it. But we're not going to drag it out for days and for weeks. Because me, it happens, boom, I want to talk about it. Him, it happens, boom, no, he don't want to talk about it. He ain't ready to talk about it. So, we've had to learn, okay, well, what works for us? And so we know communication is important. I think LeVar has learned that, communication is important. You cannot not communicate. Yeah. That's not like an option in a relationship. You got to communicate. Yeah. And what does the Bible tell us to do? Pray often. That's communicating to God. God understands that communication is so important. It's like the things that we read in the Bible we don't understand, just apply it to your life. Yeah. And so that's what the Bible is teaching us. Communication is so important. The word pray is mentioned in the Bible a lot. And it's mentioned a lot because God understands that communication between you and I is important. And so it's the same way, the communication between him and I is very important. So we just learn what works for us.
Yep.
And you want to say something else?
No, go ahead. No.
I want to read page 130 out of the book. Let's see. Loving well begins with humility, unity, and a tender heart. When conflict occurs, loving well means not responding to mistreatment with further harm, but with a blessing. So, when conflict occurs, I'm not going to respond to you with more conflict. Mm-hmm. I'm going to respond to you with a blessing. Mm-hmm. So my blessing would be to hold my tongue, watch what I say, and do good to the other. Wow. So that's the way effective communication happens in a marriage. That's how you bless the marriage with effective communication. So I'm going to hold my tongue. I'm going to watch what I say, and I'm going to do good to the other person.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's humility. That's humility and unity in your marriage.
Yep. You have to be self-aware. You got to be a lot of self-awareness because that takes work. Because you got to nanosecond.
Yep.
To decide
what you're gonna do.
What you're gonna do. And that
not even second. You got nanosecond.
That's gonna determine the whole day.
Yep.
How the day's gonna end.
Yep.
And how that moment's gonna end.
Yep.
So that's why I say you got to be self-aware.
You do.
And it takes discipline to not be offended or to not allow that trigger to take over. Because you're gonna get triggered, and
yeah.
I don't know if that conversation is gonna go there today about the triggers and within the cycle and the things that happen: shame, blame, control, or shut down. So or escape. So yeah, you got a nanosecond to decide.
Yeah. And so the way you do this is you seek peace and you pursue it. So when we have conflict, I'm going to seek peace and I'm going to pursue it. I'm not going to seek telling you a piece of my mind. I'm not going to seek even trying to make you see it mine from my perspective. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to seek peace and I'm going to pursue it. And I love this book so much because it's so biblical. He correlates everything back to the Bible. So this comes from Corinthians. So I'm going to seek peace and I'm going to pursue it. Number 2, I'm going to let love be my highest goal. So I have to always remember I love this guy. And I don't want to do anything to hurt him. And I have to know, I have to remember that he doesn't want to do anything to hurt me either. So this is just a conflict. Like, that's all it is. It's just a conflict. So let's not take this out on each other because once again, 2 are becoming 1. And you're going to have conflicts when you're putting 2 things that are totally different together. You're going to have conflict. So you have to let love be your highest goal. And then to be a mature, loving person, you need intention. And so my intention for my marriage is always that it be healthy, that it be a positive relationship for him and I. And so these are the things that you just need to remember when you're having a conflict. I have a pain cycle. He struck a chord, but I still need to be able to pursue this conversation in a loving, mature manner. Yeah.
It takes work.
It takes work.
It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that you're just going to do out of osmosis. It takes work.
It takes self-control.
Self-control, yeah.
A lot of self-control.
It does.
I got to have the control to be able to hold my tongue and not, because initially the thing that I'm thinking when somebody strikes a chord or they hit my pain cycle, it's not positive. Mm-hmm. It's normally negative. The first thing that you're going to be thinking is normally, I'm going to get you at the guzzler, the guzzle. Well, I have that old saying.
You took it back.
Yeah. You want to really hit them at the place where it hurts the worst, because our human instinct is to think that that's the thing that's going to make them hear what you're trying to say. That's the thing.
It's part of control. That when you talk about the trigger, pain cycle.
Yeah. That's me trying to control the conversation, trying to control the outcome. Yeah. But once our pain cycle is hit, we become dysregulated. That means you get all off kilter. I mean, your body, your hormones, just all off. And that's what you feel. That's what we are feeling in those moments. So that's why it's hard to put words together. That's why you should take a moment too, because I know if I get triggered, it's hard for me to put words together because I'm not calm anymore. My heart rate is up. I'm emotional. I'm not the calm version of myself.
Out of character.
I'm out of character. I will easily get out of character and begin to act in a way where you like, that to me, because that's the same person that I'm used to seeing every day. I'm easily, and everyone else, we easily get out of character because of what's happening in our body.
Chemicals.
Our chemistry in our body is off, and so we become dysregulated.
And then when that happens, she's become dysregulated, I become dysregulated, and then we both are dysregulated people coming back to each other and trying to prove a point, and that don't work. Yep. Yes. When you when you're dysregulated, it don't work. So that's when I know these tools are important to put in place, and become aware. And if both of us on the same page, you know, we can kind of not de-escalate. How you dysregulate?
Yeah.
You know, each other
Yeah.
in a sense. So, yeah.
And so that's what really drew me to want to know more how to do this. You know, like I said, that's not normal for me to listen to a podcast. And there's 2 podcasts of 2 men speaking. I'm not gonna listen to that normally, but this is how God appointed this moment was. Like God was like, fine. He just triggered me. Listen to a podcast. It's not something I normally do on a walk. If I do anything, I'm gonna listen to a previous sermon of Pastor Stephen, or maybe some music, or I'll call a cousin. I call her a lot when I'm talking. I'll call her, catch up with her, because we are adults now, have totally different lives, different things going on. We don't live close together. And so I'll call her just to catch up, because it's not often that I'm walking by myself. It's usually LeVar's walking with me or Akila's walking with me. But on that day, and it has not happened since, I just felt it really heavy on my heart listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was 2 men, and this is not something I would have normally listened to.
What's wrong
but
to me?
I don't know. I'm a woman's woman. I sort of lean toward women things.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And so I would have found 2 women maybe speaking about a topic, but not 2 men. And so I was arrested right there. I was not allowed to move on. Someone just told me to listen, and he continued to talk, and it just drew me in. And the therapy we haven't talked about. The therapy that's used in this book that sort of outline what the different things they talk about in the Mind for Marriage is restoration therapy. Yeah. And so restoration therapy, it helps foster humility and helps you change your pain cycle responses. So it helps foster humility and helps you change your pain cycle responses. So that's what the whole book is all about. But I want to read Ephesians 4:22 to you about putting off the old man and putting on the new man. It says, you were taught to leave your old self.
Wow.
So this is what happens in marriage. You were taught to leave your old self. This means, and we're going to apply this to marriage. You can apply this scripture to a lot of things, but I'm applying it to marriage today. So you were taught to leave your old self. This means that you must stop living the evil way you lived before. The old self gets worse and worse because people are fooled by the evil they want to do. Be that new person who was made to be like God, truly good and pleasing to him. And so that's what putting off the old man and putting on the new man means. You got to take off all of the evil that I want to do and say when we're having a conflict. I got to take all that stuff off. I got to take it off, and my aim has to be to do the good that I know God will want me to do in this relationship. Because when you get married, who are you standing before? You're standing before God. And so this is a God-ordained covenant. And so you're standing before God to make these vows. And God wants so many good and pleasing things to come out of your marriage. He does not want people to see you barely getting along. People to see you, he's sitting on one side of the room, I'm sitting on the other side of the room. Every time I talk to you about LeVar or something negative. Yeah. That's not what God wants people to see. A marriage is supposed to be a mirror of his goodness. That's what he wants people to see. How 2 can become one and serve God. How 2 can become one and please God. That's what God wants people to see in your marriage.
Yeah. And marriage is a witness to. Your marriage is a witness to as well in the ministry all by itself. So, you know, I tell the girls this all the time. Anybody that somebody's always looking at you.
Yep.
So somebody's always looking at your marriage.
Yep.
And your marriage can be a blessing to someone or can be a curse to someone.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that as well.
Yeah. And I don't think, and when I say burden, I'm not talking about like a bad burden, but I don't think people understand the burden that marriage carries. Like marriage, you have a bunch of responsibilities when it comes to being married. Everybody just looks at the day, whether you have on a pretty white dress, this nice venue, people coming out to celebrate you too.
Lord.
People only look at that portion of marriage. They don't realize the burden of marriage, the responsibilities that marriage carries.
That responsibility, like we said.
Yeah. That people don't realize that. But like you said, marriage is supposed to be a witness. It's supposed to be a witness of God's goodness, His love. That's what people are supposed to see in our marriages. Yeah. But if we are so easily triggered and we're so easily to be dysregulated, that's not what people are going to see. They're going to see a bunch of conflict. They're not going to see two people becoming one.
Yeah, and dysregulated is an example of, if you are driving your car and your car overheats, and it doesn't have the right coolant in there, it's gonna, the radiator's gonna explode, or the engine's gonna stop working. So that's the example of dysregulation, is when you get so hot and you overheat.
Yep.
And that's the same way in marriage when you're communicating and you're triggered by something. You got to make sure that you stay regulated, keep the right coolant in your system. So.
And I think what I just read on 130 that helps us when we're in that spot, because you're gonna feel when you're in conflict and someone says something that gets you dysregulated. That's what you're gonna instantly feel. You're gonna feel overheated.
Yeah. You're trying to defend yourself.
Yep, you're gonna feel overheated, and that's why words don't come easy. You're not able to say the thing that you would say if you were calm. And so that's why it's important to seek peace and pursue it, and to let love be your highest guide, and to make sure you're being a loving and intentional person. Yeah. So that's why it's so easy. I mean, just think about those things. Like, okay, I'm gonna let love be my guide in this moment. Whatever. Think on. The Bible tells us to think on these things. Yeah. So whatsoever lovely, whatsoever pure. Yeah. So you want to think on things that are higher, things that are more positive, because when you become dysregulated, like I said, it's chemical. We can't even control it. Before you know it, boom, I'm dysregulated. But I can't control what I do after that dysregulation.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah.
So that's the part we need to be able to control. Okay, I'm dysregulated, but what do I do when I'm in that feeling of dysregulation? That's the part you can't control. You can think on these things like the Bible tells us if you wanted to. And that's why it's so important for you to know Scripture, because Scripture gets me through a lot. People are going to strike your pain cycle.
Ooh,
people are going to make you dysregulated. You're going to do it to people. People are going to make you dysregulated. But what you have to do is learn how to respond appropriately after that dysregulation.
And we said this, I know we said this about 10 times already, but that's why it's important to be aware. You got to have that self-awareness and know you. I don't, when I become dysregulated, I focus on me and not you.
Yep.
Cause it's easy to say she needs to do this, she needs to do that. No, bro, you need to work on you. You need to find out what triggers you and not be offended.
Yep.
So I have learned through this process to look at me, not her. Yeah. Not what she's doing. What did you do at that moment? What did you say at that moment? How can you make it better? What could you have said to dysregulate the situation? Yeah. So self-awareness and looking at me. So.
Because the work that you do on this book is all you.
Boy, it's all you.
It's all on you.
Ooh,
so
it hurts too.
So the work because what they do is they walk you through how to figure out what your pain cycle is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us don't even know what people do that makes us dysregulated. Yeah. Like, we don't even know what people are doing that's making us dysregulated. All we know is I feel dysregulated. And so it's good to know what that thing is, so that when it pops up again, I realize, okay, this is what they said, and this is how it made me feel. Yeah. And so that's why I'm dysregulated. Because like I said, we are all raised in different ways. And the things that happen in our family, the things that happen in our upbringing, it imprints us. Yeah. We have these imprints, we grow up, we go out in the world, some of us, we get married, and those things are following us around. As soon as somebody says something, as soon as somebody does something that strikes that pain cycle, guess what? I'm dysregulated, I'm offended, I'm upset, and I'm responding in a negative way. Yeah. Thinking that's going to help the situation, but it's not.
Yeah. Not only family, if you've been in any type of previous relationship too, where you were hurt or, there was a print, you was imprinted by somebody else's behavior, you'll carry it over to another relationship, same old you, the same old imprints, and now you imprint somebody else.
Yeah.
So that's reality as well. That's reality. Yeah.
Yep. And we do, and we don't mean to. It's not something that like I said, most people are just not aware.
You're not aware.
Because I was not aware.
No, I wasn't.
I was not aware that I had a pain cycle, and that's why when LeVar did this, or did that, or said this, or said that, then that's why I felt what I was feeling. I didn't even know I was dysregulated. I thought I was what's the word I'm looking for? I thought it was when I felt dysregulated, I thought it was his fault, something that he did. And I was okay to feel that way. He should understand, don't say and don't do those things because you're going to make me feel this way. But I didn't realize it was something from my past that created this pain cycle.
Yeah.
That made me feel in those moments dysregulated, and I could control it. I could realize, hey, these things are going to make you dysregulated. So when it happens, then just realize that other person they don't even know your pain cycle's there. Like they don't even know what it is, and then they walk you through a couple pain cycles.
Yeah.
So that we can learn each other's pain cycles, know what they are, so I can know, okay, this is the area that if I do or say these things, it's going to trigger him, and it's going to make him feel bad, and not necessarily upset at me, but it's going to trigger something from the past that's going to make him feel bad, and then it's going to come off on me because I said it. So it's good to know what the person's pain cycle is, so you're not striking those chords unintentionally.
Yeah.
Because we do that. We hit those chords unintentionally, not knowing that this brings this person pain.
Yeah.
And I don't want to cause our pain. That's not. I don't want to cause my kids pain. I don't set out to do that.
Yeah.
But because oftentimes we don't know of pain cycles, and we don't know. Just like I have a pain cycle, my husband has a pain cycle. We don't know, and so we struck chord. We say things and we strike chords that that hurts the other person. And you speak out of hurt.
And when those happen, it's in the book talk about 4 things that are gonna happen. You're gonna blame.
Yep.
You're gonna try to put the shame. You get control, or escape. Mm-hmm. So mine was escape. And when you say escape, it means physically or mentally, and mine was more shutting down emotionally. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm done with it. I'll come back later, but I ain't coming back. It'll be about 3 or 4 days later.
Yeah.
So when you understand those 4 things as well, with the triggers, and find out what you usually do, blame, shame, control, or escape. Oh man, that was a blessing too, because like I said, when it happens, when you get triggered, now you self-aware and you can work on that. So now I need to talk to you more. I need to talk about this, and it's hard in the beginning. It's hard in the beginning, but yeah.
Yeah. So it was so much that we learned. We're trying to condense it all down, but there's so much that we learned in this book. It's a great read, and we read it together.
Yeah. It's
a great read for marriage couples together. And this is not sponsored in any way. This is just, like I said, we've over the past several years, we've been able to get tools to make our marriage a marriage that we can be proud of. Not just that other people can look at and want to aspire to, but something we can be proud of. Because nobody wants to be in a marriage where you're just getting by and you're not happy, and you can't talk about certain things, you can't say certain things because it's gonna make the other person upset. You want to be in a marriage where you can have those tough conversations when it needs to be had, and you do enjoy one another.
You want to thrive. You want to have a thriving
marriage.
Yeah, thriving marriage.
Yeah.
You don't want to get stuck in that stage of the power struggle, because there's 5 stages to every marriage, and the power struggle is real. It's real, and we talk about that later. But the power struggle is not when it's gonna. It's not if it's gonna happen. It's when it's gonna happen.
Yep.
And we didn't want to be stuck in that.
Yeah. And a lot of couples.
Yeah.
And we were stuck in it.
You're stuck in it.
A lot of couples get stuck there. You get stuck in the power struggle, and that's not fun.
No.
Like having that conflict daily, multiple times a day.
Tension.
It's just not fun. Like we've been there, and it's just not fun. Walking through the house, not speaking to each other. You get in the bed, you immediately turn the opposite way because when we're facing that person.
I didn't do that. You turned your back on me?
Oh, you trying to say you didn't turn your back?
I didn't turn my back.
No.
Yeah, I didn't turn back none.
He's in denial. He's in denial stage.
That wasn't.
He need to go AA because he's in the denial stage.
But that's part of the power struggle, like you said.
It is.
Yeah, you got. I'm telling you, you have to get the right tools to get out of there, or you be stuck there.
You will be stuck.
Yeah.
And a lot of couples, because it's the honeymoon stage.
It's over.
You in that honeymoon stage for a couple of years, and you thinking this is what marriage is.
Yeah.
No, that is not what marriage is. That's the honeymoon stage. That's us first becoming one, moving into the same space together, and everything is all roses and peaches. That's what that is. But you're gonna come out of it soon.
Yeah, you don't get offended.
Yeah.
You don't look at things. You don't look at all the faults.
No, all the things that they used to do that you thought was cute is now faults.
Yeah.
A fault.
It irritates
Not
you.
cute no more. Why they doing that? Why they smack their lips like that? Why they chew like that?
So, yeah.
Why they just walk through the house like that?
Why you
walking so heavy? You stopping?
Stop breathing. So yeah. So that's the power struggle stage. Yeah, and two things happen. Like I said, you stay stuck, stay miserable, or you throw your hands up and say, I can do better all by myself.
Yeah.
So like I said, this book.
And that's what I knew the enemy wanted.
Yeah.
I knew the enemy wanted for me to throw my hand. Like I said before in our first podcast, divorce has never been something I threw up in LeVar's face. Like, we about to get divorced. That's never something I threw up in his face because I knew that was serious. Like, you don't say things like that unless you really mean it. Unless something has, he's cheated on me or something has really happened to damage the marriage.
Yeah.
And communication can damage your marriage, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
And that's what was going on with us. We just didn't have, we were on different frequencies. Like, he was on this frequency, I was on another frequency, and we were not communicating well. Mm-hmm. And so that's what was going on. And I knew I didn't want to get to the point to where, I just threw up my hands. Because, like I said, communication can ruin your marriage. I just threw up my hands and I was like, I can be miserable by myself. I don't need to be in a house with somebody being miserable. I do a great job of doing that on my own. And so those are the things, while we both started seeking different avenues for us to gain tools to make everything a lot lighter, a lot better.
So true, man. Because me personally, before we had the tools and you used to come to me, I looked at it as you nagging.
Yeah.
Because, it just seemed like, but, and when we got the right tools, I saw that you were communicating from unmet needs. Mm-hmm. And, the tools helped us, helped me to learn how to meet your needs in a positive way. And like I said, not looking at me, but getting the right tools to meet your needs. And then I saw it wasn't, no, this is not nagging. This is her expressing her needs, her unmet needs not being met. So that's how the tools, what we have gained, it has been helping me as well. Yeah. Can't be selfish.
Yeah. And even when we got the tools, we tried to use them oftentimes. Like what we would be learning and reading about, we would try to use those tools oftentimes. We would get into even more heated conversations.
Boy, you ain't lying.
Some of those conversations.
Take the wheel, Jesus.
We were still on different frequencies.
Yes, sir.
So don't get me wrong. Don't think that, me and my husband gonna read this book and everything gonna be A-okay. No, you still gonna have some conversations where you're probably gonna come out of there mad. Yeah. But just know now we have the tools. And now we have the information, we have the knowledge. So we just have to continue to apply it.
Yeah. You gotta
continue to
deny yourself daily. What he was saying, put out the old man. You gotta take out the old man daily.
Yeah.
And taking this stuff off, some kind of difficult because, like I said, you want to get revenge, you want to give a piece of your mind, or you just want to make sure they hear you.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're being heard. But like I said, it's not about you anymore. You gotta concentrate on you to make sure your partner's needs are being met as well.
Yeah. So we just had that tenacity and that fight spirit that we're gonna figure out how this stuff works.
Yeah.
And we're gonna figure out how to apply it effectively to our marriage so that we can see the fruits of it. Yeah. That's what we want to be able to see, the fruits of it. And we're still working on it.
It's a work in progress.
He has to remind me sometimes, Mika, Are you heart listening?
Yeah.
You know, and I have to remind him sometimes, LeVar, is this your pain cycle speaking, or is this the reality? Mm-hmm. You know, so we still have to remind each other. Yeah. And then since we have those tools though and that knowledge, once we remind each other of what's going on, then I'm able to self-evaluate.
Yeah.
It checks me really fast if he asks me, am I heart listening? You know, are you listening just to respond, or are you listening to what I'm saying? And if I have to remind him of something, you know, we understand what those tools are and how we should be using it. Because like I said, taking off the old man and putting on the new man is not an easy task. But we have to do it daily. And so when I'm being reminded of, Tamika, you're not taking off the old man so that you can put on the new. Because you can't put on clean clothes on top of dirty clothes. That's what, if you want to visualize it, that's what it looks like, taking off the old man and putting on the new man. We try to do that in life. Like we try to put clean stuff on top of dirty stuff, but it just don't work. You can't do that. That old stuff is still up under there. So the Bible is speaking of taking it completely off, taking it off and putting on the new man.
You said something a while ago, 3 minutes ago. You said that you're able to tell me, or your heart listening, and I'm able to, you know. But this takes both people willing to work. Yeah. You got to have both parties in it, toes down, ready to knock each other, not the situation out, not knock each other out, but not the situation out. But both parties have to be willing to work.
Willing to do it.
And you're not perfect. You're going to mess up. You're going to mess up. But now, because both parties are involved, it's easy to forgive. It's easy not to shine light on their fault because you're working together now. Yeah. So.
And since I know your pain cycle, if we're having a conversation, you're triggered, you're dysregulated, you respond in a certain way, then now I know that's his pain cycle.
Yeah.
You know,
likewise.
I hurt him. That's the reason why he's responding that way. I didn't intentionally do it, but that's what I did. I hurt him. Now he's responding. His pain cycle has told him to respond in this way. Yeah. He's responding out of not hate. He's responding out of hurt. Yeah. And so that's why he's responding that way. It's not really directed toward me, even though it's coming my way. It's not really directed toward me. He's responding out of hurt.
Yeah. And then you're able to point it out, LeVar, and I'm like, I'm like, check right then, LeVar, you need to watch that because you're responding out of your pain cycle.
Yeah, we're able to not take things so personally.
Yeah, hold each other accountable too. Yeah, you know, and that's refreshing. Yeah, because you don't walk away feeling defeated or, oh God, here we go again. Yeah. So that's really refreshing to know that having to choose to self-regulate. Yeah. So.
And this is just for, what we're speaking of is just for like, if there's some communication concerns. There's some communication concerns in your marriage, you're not communicating well. This is not really referring to if someone has stepped outside the marriage.
Yeah, that's
a whole nother ball game. You know, that's going to require some more therapy to get the person to be, you know, especially if you want to stay in the marriage. Okay, now I got to figure out how I can really take off the old man and put on a new man. And I need some other tools for me to be able to, if I want to stay here, for me to be able to stay here and not daily, you know, think about what happened or continue, especially if the person, now if the other person has really change the way they do things and change how they're treating you, and now they're respecting the marriage and not stepping out anymore. So how do I trust this person again? You know, you're gonna need some different tools
to trust
before you can apply these tools. Yeah. So I just want to make that plain. This is not for if there's physical abuse or you know if someone has stepped out on the marriage. You know, you need to handle that first. Yeah. Handle that first. And then, as you're handling that, you can start using what we're talking about today.
I agree. Yep. But that was good right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But before we end though, I want to walk you through the 4 steps of when somebody strikes your pain cycle. And I have this in my phone. so that I can just, because I don't have it memorized, and I want to just be able to pull it up if I feel like, okay, LeVar just struck my pain cycle. What do I need to do? I need to acknowledge the pain. So LeVar, what you just said, it hurt me.
Yeah.
You know, I know that's not your intention. I know you were thinking, you know, maybe, you know, he was in a whole nother mind frame, and he's in a rush, or he is not even thinking, I'm trying to hurt my wife. Hope you're not thinking that way. Something else is on your mind. So I need to acknowledge the pain, though. I need, LeVar, what you said, that hurt me. You know, I know that was not your intention. And then I need to state what I would normally do. Normally, I would get upset and I would respond in a way that lets you know that I was triggered. So that's normally what I would do. Number 3 is root yourself in truth. It's truth. Yeah. So the truth is, this person loves me. The truth is, this person has given me no reason to believe that he ever wants to hurt me. You know, his track record is great. So I need to root myself in truth. I know you love me. Yeah. I know that was not your intention. And then I need to choose a healthy behavior. Okay? So I need to acknowledge the pain. I need to state what I would normally do, root myself in truth, and I need to choose a healthy behavior. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to do the thing that I know that would make you be able to process better. I think we need to step away from this conversation for an hour come back and let's talk it through. You know, so however those 4 steps look, that's the mind frame that you have to take on when you've been triggered. Yeah. Okay, I've got to acknowledge the pain, state what I normally do, root myself in truth, and choose a healthy behavior. Yeah. So that's how it looks in real life. That's how you use it in real life.
It takes practice too. Because when you in here in the moment, you ain't think about those 4 steps. No. And that's why it's important to practice when you're not dysregulated.
Yeah.
And you practice together. Come up with scenarios. And then when it do happen, you know, you get dysregulated. You know, you really, really got to think about those 4 steps. Because like I said earlier, you got a nanosecond to decide to use these steps. Yeah. So it takes work. It takes work. Especially, like I said, especially in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Woo, Jesus. So, yeah.
And they walk you through all that in the book. Yeah. Him and his wife, Nan, are the authors of the book. And they also co-wrote it with a therapist that they used, Terry and Sharon Hargrave. Mm-hmm. But it walks you through all that we've talked about in the book. It walks you through it.
I like old Nan.
I thought it was a very older name.
Nan.
Yeah. I had an aunt named Nan. A great aunt.
I know some names back in my neighborhood. Yeah. I call her old Nan.
I have a great aunt named Nan.
Yeah. So it's great stuff, man. Great stuff. I think, you know, like I said, we are constantly trying to use these steps. Like I said, part of our arsenal. And then, like I said, it takes work.
It does.
And we'll continue. We're committed to put the work in. You have to be committed. So. Yeah. You do. You do.
So we had a great time.
Yeah, it was
good. We said so a lot. Seems like you just said so about 5 times, and I said so.
So yeah, we continue to keep on, keep on keeping on. So I say it again. So I'm gonna work on that. So be it. Yeah.
We had a great time hanging out with you guys. Don't know what our next podcast is gonna be about, but we'll figure out a topic. Yeah. But we just wanted to sort of introduce, let you know why we decided to do the podcast, and then what are the things that helped us to get on a positive road of figuring out, okay, we love each other, we want it to work, for some reason it's not working. Yeah. Like, what's going on here? Why is this not working? And that's when we realized, okay, well, it's something out there that you guys need to tap into. Yeah. So that you can make, you know, the thing that God has joined together, you can make that work.
And I think we was aware of the stage we was in that marriage. We had to learn the 5 stages first, and we learned it was in that power struggle stage with God. And that's not a fun stage. So
I want you to see my point. You wanted me to see your point.
Yeah. And
I wanted you to do things your way. You wanted me to do things your way. Yeah. We're power struggling.
Yeah. Like you said, you want me to do things your way. Yeah.
Oh, you don't like when I said
I think, you know.
that you want it.
Yeah, that's right.
Me to do things.
That's right.
Your way.
That's right. I want it my way, no other way. My way. I don't know if that makes sense.
You understood that?
Nah,
That's-
That's why I said it. I didn't care about your way. What you do with me.
I know. Yeah,
So-
that's the power struggle.
Yeah.
we were having a good old power struggle.
Yep. So we working on it. Thanks be to God.
Yeah.
So.
And another thing I know we were like we're gonna end, but another thing we instituted before we even knew about any of these twos were date night.
Yeah.
It was date night.
Yeah.
We instituted date night, and that's like concrete on our schedule.
Yeah.
Nothing's coming in between date night. Date night is set on the night. We do ours on Thursday. We tried to choose this very odd night that nothing would be happening.
Yeah.
So we chose Thursday because Fridays are usually busy. Wednesdays are usually small group days. Monday's the beginning of the week, and so we sort of went through the week. What made sense for us?
Yeah.
And we're like, let's do it on Thursday. That's just an odd night. So let's do it on that night. And so we had Thursday. Everybody in our life knows now that Thursday is date night. Like my mama even calls sometimes. She's like, oops, I forgot. It's date night.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what date night is now. And we have adult daughters. So it was easy for us to do that. Even though adult daughters does not mean that they are not attached to my hip anymore, because they are. They had you used to date night.
They stayed in the house. Why?
And they were in their 20s.
Yeah.
One of them was still in college, and she had an issue with date night. I'm like, what?
I told you when they in that. That's why I like being in minister.
You're not even in the house no more. Why do you have an issue with our date night?
Yeah.
So they had to get used to it, but it was what it was. And so we've been doing date nights for how long do you think?
It's been a while.
It's been a long while.
Yeah, it's been a while now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
And that's when we read the book together.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to start reading another book together. We would go to a restaurant. If the restaurant was, some restaurants are dark, very nice environment, but they're dark. And I can't, look, I got glasses on. I can't see them words.
Yeah.
So we would try to read in restaurants, just sit there.
Coffee
and
shop.
maybe get a coffee or something like that. And then we decided to start going to coffee shops after we eat.
Yeah.
So we go to coffee shops and we find a little corner and we read.
Yeah.
So
You sometimes
we instituted that.
We have to pivot sometimes.
Yeah.
You remember you used to be on Tuesday nights?
I did.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out why we didn't choose Tuesday.
It used to be Tuesday, and I don't know what happened. But we pivot to Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tuesday and Thursdays are odd days of the week.
Yeah.
It's usually nothing happening on a Tuesday or a Thursday. And so we instituted date night, and nothing is planned on date night. Now there's some times where something may pop up on a Thursday, and we'll say, okay, let's go out on Friday.
Yeah.
It rarely happens, but sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
And we do have to change it, but that's something we instituted.
Yep.
And that gives us time to work on our usness.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else? Cause we just going on and on. I mean, how many minutes is this?
No.
Yeah.
We're trying to give y'all 45 minutes. We might be close to
45.
it.
Yeah. I think we might be on 48. So.
We'll see how preachers preach for an hour.
You
I
can
run
do
out
it.
of stuff to say.
Someone, never mind. I'm gonna say something negative.
I know he's gonna say someone don't have nothing to say.
No, I'm
anyway.
gonna say that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you will.
Okay, it's time to go now because somebody preach.
All right, guys. We thank you for joining our podcast.
Yep.
You win. We ask that you share, like, and subscribe to the channel so that you'll know when we have new posts that are up. And we are going to put new podcasts up every
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 times a month.
So the first week in the month and the
Indeed.
last week in the month.
Yep.
Yep. And we've learned that rolls around fast, haven't we?
Yeah. Too fast for me, especially when life is busy. So.
Because he didn't realize we were supposed to record today. I was like, today is a podcast recording day. So he's got to get used to it. I used to do all the family vlog stuff, but he will. All right, guys.
You win,
I'm
baby.
rambling on again. You win.
Yeah.
Peace.
All right.